Hi, and welcome back to Nilda's Kitchen Latin Corner. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make chuletas guisadas. As you can see, I already have everything set to start making my dish. I have the pork chops, I have the sofrito, which in my first video I showed you how to make, tomato sauce, Sazon Goya. This gives it a little seasoning but also gives it the coloring. And this is my Goya that I use, my Adobo that I use to season the meat. And this is going to be the saucepan that I use to cook my pork chops. So why don't we get started? So now let's season the pork chops. Pretty much you're going to season it to your taste, and I'm going to do it to how we like it. As you can see, to some it might be a lot, to some others it might be a little too little, but again, it's to your taste. Oh, make sure you wash your pork chops before. Now let's move these pork chops to our saucepan. So as you see, I already turned on my stove, and I'm going to be adding a cup of water to here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of let it get a little hot before I put the pork chops in there. Okay, now let's begin transferring the pork chops. The water already is starting to get hot, as you can see. Start transferring over the pork chops. Kind of spread it open around. Now let's add our seasoning. This is probably a tablespoon I'm going to be putting in there. I'm just going to put it right on the top. We're going to I'm going to grab some tomato sauce. Just pour some. Again, it's to your tasting, how you like it. You want to grab some water and kind of just like spread it around. Because once it boils, it's going to all start cooking together. And then we're going to grab our seasoning and just kind of spread it around. I like my pork chops red a lot. I like a lot of color in it, so I'm going to add 2 of these. And that's basically it. We're going to let it kind of simmer a little bit, and then I'm going to put it on low flame and then let it cook on its own. As you can see, the water's already starting to boil, and this is the flame that I have it on. Excuse me, I'm making some rice, so this is the flame. So now that it's boiling, I'm going to lower the flame. And I'm going to lower to almost the low end, because you want your pork chops to cook thoroughly. So what we're going to do, and that was roughly maybe about 4 or 5 minutes that it took to start to boil at this temperature. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover up the pork chops, and pretty much you do nothing but come back maybe in about 15 minutes. It's 5:20, so I should be back around 5:35 to check up on the pork chops. And what I normally do is I turn them around so they can cook on the other side. So we'll be back. See you soon. 15 minutes have passed, maybe a little bit over, maybe 16. So as you can see, it's cooking nicely. So I'm just going to pretty much just turn all the pork chops around. And that way it can cook on both sides. And pretty much that's it. Put the cover back on and give it another about 20 minutes to cook, and it should be done. Well, the pork chop have been cooking for exactly 40 minutes, and we're getting ready to serve. So this is how you know when your meat is done, when you can kind of like rip it apart. So that is done. So now I'm going to serve dinner. I'm going to serve the one I've just been picking at, and I'm going to pour it right here. And what my husband likes is when I grab the juices and I put it on top of the rice and the pork chop. And that is your meal for the day. As you can see, I combined it with white rice. The previous video that I showed you when I was making rice with pigeon peas, I actually had made Chuletas Guisadas. As you can see, you can kind of mix it, you can match it with any kind of rice. Also, another thing what I want you to notice is that I cooked my pork chops in water. You can cook it. It's a very healthy way to cook your pork chops. You don't always have to fry your pork chops, and it actually comes out really delicious because the pork chops already have their own oils. So, what nice thing about cooking in water is that you can actually taste the flavor of your seasoning. So, I hope you liked my video. If you have any questions or would like to add any more comments, please feel free to do so at nildaskitchen.net.